Great. So I'm Pasindu.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayesh.
Yeah. So we both will take you through fundamentals or basics of .NET MAUI framework. So this is a mobile framework that was developed on top of .NET. Let's jump into the agenda. So we have introduction. We will talk what's .NET MAUI there, and also the architecture of .NET MAUI. And we have like fundamentals, like building blocks of MAUI. So we'll talk about the building blocks of MAUI, and also we have project architecture in .NET MAUI. And we also have a great demo. So in the demo, we will create a to-do list app using .NET MAUI from the scratch. So at the as the last part of the session, we will see some production ready applications that is built with .NET MAUI. Yeah, we'll jump into the session. Yeah, what's .NET MAUI? So .NET MAUI, okay. .NET MAUI is a cross-platform UI framework that allows you to write C# code. Like you can write C# code once and run it natively in Windows, Android, Mac, iOS. So basically you have a single code base that is written in C#, and that can be compiled into Android bits, like native bits, iOS native bits, and same for the other platforms.
Yeah, so in this picture you can see, in this screenshot, actually you can see like we have two app, the same kind of app running in two types of OS, Android and iOS. So like in Android, like you can see the title is left aligned, while in the iOS the title is center aligned. So this is kind of like native behavior. So like the same code get compiled to its native behavior.
Yeah. So that's the basic idea of what's .NET MAUI. Let's jump into the layers of MAUI architecture. So this is the layers of MAUI architecture, not how we arrange the project, but this is like under the hood. What are the layers in MAUI architecture? So first, we have .NET Runtime, of course. So using when we have .NET Runtime, we have access to the basic APIs such as system.io, HTTP clients. So normally, if you are a .NET developers, you might be using this more frequently. So we have the base layer as .NET Runtime, and on top of that, we have the .NET MAUI framework. So .NET MAUI framework has few core components. We have .NET for Android, .NET for iOS and Mac, and also we have for WinUI. So what .NET MAUI team has done is they have wrapped these components with C# and has given us abstract APIs so that as .NET developers we can write code using those APIs. And let's say we need to write a button. So MAUI team has given us a button API expose. So when we write the code in .NET MAUI for that button, it will compile down to its platform's native bits. So that's the idea of it. And on top of that, we have the app project, which is the place we will be working mostly. So our project sits there. And when we compile this code, it will always compile down to its platforms, specific platforms, native bits. So here, for example, we have Android. So it will compile down to Android native bits.
Yeah, so like one thing to add is like this app code. When we say app code, it's our project, right? So this is our views, we view models, services. Yeah, so app code is our project, and that's where we work.
Yeah, that's basically our project, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's see some building blocks in MAUI. We have a MAUI UI hierarchy. So application can consist of multiple pages, and inside that page, is inside a specific page, you can have multiple layouts. So the layouts also can have multiple UI controls. So we'll talk about each one of them. So first, let's look into pages in MAUI. Okay, the first page is the content page. This is the page that you will be using most commonly, and this is a single layout UI. So this is a content page. So here, for example, you can see we have a welcome text and a button. So this is a simple page in .NET MAUI.
Yeah, so like we use this page mainly like for individual screens. Let's say it could be a login page, home page, profile, about contact settings. So that kind of page, this is the ideal one. One thing to add here, like content page itself doesn't have navigation properties. So like we usually wrap that with a navigation page. So yeah, we will talk about navigation page in the beginning.
This is also simple and flexible. So yeah, this is lightweight as you said. Let's move into the other page, which is the flyout page. So this page combines flyout, which is a side menu, to the content page. So here, if you can see in the example, you have the content page, and in the left side, you have a side menu. So here, for example, if you have a page with multiple sections, let's say around 10 sections, so you can add those sections in this side menu, and then you can click and navigate into any of the content pages you have. So yeah, that's the basic idea of a flyout page.
Yeah, so usually like we have this look and feel in news apps, kind of like email apps or dashboard. So those are the like perfect places where we can use the flyout page.
Now we have tab pages. So tab pages is like when you have child element or child pages organized in a tab way. For example, here we have 3 tabs, right? So you can have 3 content pages, and you can add those 3 pages as tabs. So one of the advantages over flyout page in tab page is you have quick access. In flyout page, you will have to get the menu and then go into that section. But here, you have direct access for in any of the tabs, and any of the tabs, and it's always nice if you can have, like, let's say you have around 5 sections, then it's really good to go with the tab page. But if you have a if you have more sections, then flyout page would be ideal.
Yeah, and here like let's say you are like really using social media apps, right? So you can see tabs there. So mostly like social media kind of apps, and then e-commerce app. So that's where like we use tab page. And like one thing to note is like this works differently. This appears differently in Android and iOS. So in Android, the tab appears in top, while the iOS, the tabs appeared in bottom. It's kind of like native behavior.
Now next we have a navigation page. So if you let's say you have content pages, and you need to navigate through those content pages back and forth, then you can wrap the content pages in a navigation page. In that scenario, you can go back and forth in the content page, and
so since the behavior of this page, like it's really come in handy in kind of wizards kind of thing. So like next, you click next and it goes to a separate instruction set of instructions. Like those kind of scenario, like navigation page is the go-to. So and could be like social media apps as well. You have a post, so and then you click on the profile, it goes to the profile. You click on a different section, then it goes to a different section. So they also like you can use a navigation page. Where you need pages on top of like on the navigation stack.
Yes, that's about a navigation page. Yeah. Now let's look into some layouts in MAUI. The first layout is the stack layout. So this arrange child elements in a single line. It could be either vertical or horizontal. Here in the example, it's arranged in vertical. So you can see we have a username label, and then we have an input. Likewise, it flows down. So here it's a vertical stack layout.
Yeah, so mainly this is used in forms. Like in forms, we keep elements one after the other, right?
Yeah.
So the forms would be an ideal place to use stack layout. Also, like lists, you can show lists as well. Kind of like mainly like a column row style wise, you use stack layout.
Yeah. Next we have absolute layout. So absolute layouts is like when child elements are placed at absolute positions. So for example, in this diagram or the screenshot, you can see we have a square and a rectangle. Square is placed at top left corner, and the rectangle is in the right bottom, right? So these are in two absolute positions in the page. So if you want to have child components in custom positions, then absolute layout would be more suitable, I guess.
Yeah, and also like if you want, let's say you want to overlap these elements, so that again like absolute layout is the go-to, and it's really come in handy in a graphic heavy or kind of a freeform UIs, or you could say games as well.
Yeah, that's absolute layout, and then we have grids. So this is similar to tables in HTML and CSS. So you probably might have used tables, so it's similar to that. So here you can place your child components in a row and column structure. So here you can see we have four child elements at the top, and at the bottom you can see a rectangle. So what it has done here is you have a table of a grid with two columns and three rows, and the last row there's a call span of two, so which means two columns have been merged, and you can use properties of tables like that to when you're having the grid layout.
Yeah, so like this is really good for kind of dashboard things. So in dashboard, we don't like keep things one after the other. We just like place them side by side. So yeah, in dashboard, kind of data view things, screens, this is really good. Also, like again in forms, you can use this to keep elements side by side rather than keeping them one after the other.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's a grid layout, and we have the next one as a flex layout. So this is inspired by CSS flex boxes. So here you can arrange. Okay, I'll explain it with a example. Let's say you have a row, and in the row you can have five child components, right? So let's say if one child component has a bigger content and it needs more space, then it will expand, and the other other four child elements will adjust its size. So this is really good in responsive for responsive UIs. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say you want to wrap your elements when the screen is getting smaller and the screen is getting or either stretch or expand. So then like you need to adjust your content based on that, right? Yes. So yeah, with the flex layout you can do that easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we will talk about controls in MAUI. So at this point, we have talked about pages and layouts. If you can remember the UI hierarchy, we have completed pages and the layouts. Yeah. Now we are going to talk about the controls in MAUI. Yeah, here we have two examples. So at a glance, you can see one spin-eyes for iOS and the other spin-eyes for Android. So what .NET MAUI team has done is it have exposed us a single API for both of these spinners, which is called activity indicator. So you can use this activity indicator, and it has some properties in it. So you can use these properties or the attributes and control the behavior of these spinners. So when you compile this activity indicator, it will compile down to a UI activity indicator for iOS and progress bar for Android. Yeah. So this is one example, and the next example is UI slider and seek bar. Again, two components. The look and feel is different, but MAUI team has given us a API called slider. You can use that and change the behavior of the slider, or do like changes to it. So these are just two examples, and we have tons of UI controls in MAUI. Here also we have a few. So if you go to Microsoft MAUI documentation, you can find many of them. And when you come across scenarios, there are like controllers that can cater those requirements. Now the UI hierarchy is completed. We are moving into project architectures in MAUI. We have three types of project architectures here. So we have MVVM, which is model view model architecture, and we have MVP, which is model view presenter, and we also have a clean architecture. So you might already have heard this clean architecture because this is famous and they are using in many projects. If for example, I have used it in .NET backends, most of the backends that I have done. So you can use the same architecture in .NET MAUI as well. So we are not going to talk into details of each of the architectures. We will be more focusing on MVVM because it's the most highly recommended and heavily used architecture for .NET MAUI. Let's look at the MAUI architecture. So, MVVM architecture. So we have three modules here. We have module. So here you have all the data structures, the DTOs or the entities. They'll go inside module, and you have view. So views contain all the logic that's related to the UI. So example, if you have a button, so the code that needs to create that button in the UI will go to view. And in view model, you have all the business logic. Let's take example. For example, you have a button, and if you when you click on that button, you call some kind of a backend server, third-party service, and then bring up some list of customers. So the button the code that needs to write the button will go inside the view. And when you click on it, what's going to happen will go inside a view model. So button doesn't know what's the, it doesn't have connections. The main benefit of it is, let's say you have a page and you want to revamp the page for a new UI, then you can do it only in view without touching the other layers. Exactly. And you can do something called binding. So using that, it will communicate between the modules.
So we have like an inbuilt interface called iNotify property change, which is like a base class or interface for a view model. So when we implement our view model with that, so it's sent like and when we bind our view model with the view, so they communicate with each other. So like it's like telling our view model that you need to send notification when something got changed to the view. So then view changes it accordingly.
So I think we have a great demo. So in demo, we are going to use MVVM, and we'll see MVVM in action, I think, in the demo. So that brings up to our next part, which is the demo. Ayesh, over to you.
Thank you, Pasindu. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. Yep. So this demo, like we will have in two parts. So in the first part, what we're gonna do is like we're gonna create a fresh Maui project, and then we will go through the components like the files and folders we have, and we'll try to understand a few basics things about Maui and files. So in the latter part, we will be creating a to-do list app. Yeah. So let's get started with the first part. So here in my setup, I'm using VS Code with .NET CLI. So I'm going to use the command line tool to create the project. So you have like another option, which is Visual Studio. Yeah. So when you use that, you don't have to use these command line tools. You can just pick the template from the GUI. It creates a project. Yeah. So before that, let's just see what are the templates that we have. So with this, like you have like a lot of .NET created templates. You have Maui and then Maui Blazor hybrid. So it's like instead of SAML, you use Blazor. Yeah. So so then Blazor, you have like many more templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Maui project. I'm going to name it as to-do list. Yeah, so just like that, I got the project created. So let's see how this project it looks like in Visual Studio Code. I have that open. Yeah, so this is again like the fresh project. So we have a few folders and files. So let's go one by one. So these are like build related files. They will get cleared. So we don't need to talk about these bin and obj. So the first important thing folder is the platform. So inside the platforms folder, you have like 5 folders: Android, iOS, Mac Catalyst, Tizen, and Windows. So these are the platforms currently supported for .NET MAUI. So you can deploy this single code base to each of these 5 platforms. Okay. So unlike Xamarin, like in Xamarin, you had to have 2 projects for Android and iOS, one for Android, one for iOS.
Yeah, we used to have like multiple projects, and we have to set the startup project and then run the emulator, which is also heavy for the machine.
So with Maui, they have eliminated that. So we can like deploy this same code base to each of these platforms. So so we have Android folder. So it's like again native files. Like we have Android manifest, which is where I define the permissions, and then main activity, which is the initiation part for the Android app. And yeah, same goes for the iOS. You have the info.plist, again, where you define your permissions, and program.cs and app delegate. Yeah, so same for other platforms. They have their different native files. So yeah.
So Tizen here is UI based OS, right?
Tizen is Linux based tvOS. Yeah. It's mainly used in smart TVs like Samsung. So this is the only place like at the moment Maui has a Linux support.
Okay.
I think in the future they might improve that, but right now it's just the Tizen. Yeah. So then the properties, this is kind of a common thing in .NET API or .NET project where you define your launch settings. In Maui, you will rarely work on this. Yeah. So then an important thing is the resources folder. This is where you keep all your resources, including images, fonts, kind of thing. So let's go one by one. So first we have app icon. So there we have 2 SVGs. One is just this purple background, and one is this .NET. Yeah. So when we install this app on an emulator or real device, these 2 will get combined to a single image. So that's how the app icon gets created. Yeah. So then we have like a couple of fonts. This is like by default they added with the template. So all other fonts, they goes here in the fonts folder. Then we have like images. Again, like this is specific for images. So right now it's just sample image. All the images and we'll go here. And then the raw. So raw mean like You can have PDF, MP3, text, video files. Those raw files go on this raw folder. Then splash. So this is the screen you get when the app starts. So you can see this screen for a couple of seconds when you open the app. Yeah, so you can like replace it to whatever you want. Yeah, so within the resources, this is kind of a new thing. So they have defined two SAML files. So it's colors, where you defined all your colors and give them a name. So like, for example, this is kind of a purple thing and we are calling it primary. So we don't have to use this color code, hex code anywhere. So we can just use primary. And similarly, like you have like a couple of styles, these are predefined by MAUI template. So let's see in a bit how they are imported.
So here one question. So
Yeah.
all these project folders and files come out of the box with the template, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We have like a base template to work with, right?
Yeah, we have a base. So I'll show you what we have in a bit. So yeah, then you can like get this clear. So yeah, so that's the folders. Then we have like a couple of important files. The first thing is, like we have the CS project file, which is common for every .NET app. This is where like you define your, app identifier. This is like you need to when you need to deploy it to the App Store or Play Store, like you need to work with this. And also like you can see your NuGet packages here also. Yeah, so then we have a MAUI program.cs. So this is similar to the program.cs on .NET APIs.
Okay.
So this is where like we define all our NuGet packages, or let's say you added a service, you come here and then you register it. And here also, like you can see, we have registered fonts. So those two fonts that we saw in the resource folder, they're just registered here.
Yeah, these fonts, I don't see it importing from anywhere. How does it knows the place where you have it in the, for the structure?
Yeah, so that's kind of like magic thing in MAUI. So when we say fonts.add font, MAUI knows like we are going to add a font. So it specifically looks in the fonts folder. So MAUI knows like, okay, MAUI knows this is the font and I need to check this name in the fonts folder and I need to register it. So we don't need to tell the path. MAUI checks that path for you.
Okay, great. So it knows what the folder is.
Exactly. And this is like same for images. You don't need to mention the path. MAUI picks up from the images folder.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we have a couple of important interesting files, SAML and SAML.cs. So let's go one by one. So the first one is app.saml. So SAML file where we define the UI. So here you can see like, and this is the entry point to the application. So here in the app.saml, you can see like we have imported our resources, those two style files that got created, colors.saml and styles.saml. So they will be kind of globally available for the app.
Okay.
It's kind of like a index file.
Index.html.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of a thing. So just below that, you can see another file with the same name, but the extension is CS. That means it's a C# file. So these two, even though like they are two separate files, they work as a one. So this is the SAML file. We call the SAML.cs file a code behind file.
Okay.
So what the code behind file does is, so let's say SAML, you have the UI, but it only handles the UI part. It can handle logics. So for the logics, we need to define the logics in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the code behind file comes in.
Okay.
So we have the code UI file and the code behind file. Code behind file is where you define all your logics. So right now we have this app.saml and the respective code behind file. Here, like you can see some initiations. They are like common for each and every like code behind file. And here in this, what we're doing is we are creating a window again, like, and we are returning a new window called app shell. Yes. So app shell, you can see right below here. When you go to the app shell, you are taken to this app shell.samls.cl, which is the code behind file. So it doesn't have any UI thing, like any logic or anything, just simple plain initiation. But if you go to the respect to UI file, which is the SAML file, there you have some interesting content. So it's starting with the shell, and we have added the shell content. So shell is an inbuilt navigation provided by MAUI. So think of this shell content as a route. In React also we have routes, right? So this is a route. So we can define what page should be displayed. So here we have the route, a title, and route called main page, and we are using this main. We are showing this main page. Right now you only have one shell content, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we add another shell content. So then MAUI will automatically generate a sidebar for us.
Okay. So you mean when we have two or more shell contents, it will automatically creates a navigation bar.
Yeah, sidebar with a hamburger.
Okay.
So we don't have to go through and code a sidebar or anything. So it just creates the sidebar for us.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. You can do tons of customization.
Yeah. I think we can do nested routes also here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's also possible. So that's the importance of the shell. So it's the navigation of the yeah. So here we are just showing the main page. So you can see main page right below here. We have two files, main page.saml and the respective code behind file. So here in the SAML, again, it's just the UI, right? So we have a content page and we have a scroll view. That means this can be scrolled.
Yeah.
And here inside that we have a vertical stack layout. That means we will be aligning them one after the other. So we have an image, and here also you can see we don't give the full path, just the image name. So MAUI knows where to look. Yeah, and then two labels and a button. So in this button you can see we have defined a click event and it's on counter click method. So I told you we will be putting this logic in the code behind file. So yeah, in the main page.saml.cs, where the code behind file is located, we have this on counter click method.
Okay. In the code behind file, we have the logic the command of the
exactly.
Button. Yeah.
So going forward, we will use another way of defining this method.
Okay.
And we will keep this code behind file clean. But right now, yeah, the logic is in the code behind file. This is all comes with the template. Yeah, so let's run this and let's see how this looks like. So I'm going to run it in an iOS emulator. Okay. It's installing. Yeah, so you got a simple app. So this all comes from the template. We haven't done anything.
Okay.
So you can click the button and it just count how many times you click it. So with that logic.
So we have a app ready with the template, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a simple but cool app. Yeah. So that's the first part. So now we are going to the second part, which is building our to-do list app. So before that, I'll show you the completed version so you can get an idea of what we are going to build.
Yeah.
So I have that here. So this will be our to-do list app. So you will have a simple navigation with 2 pages, and you can type your task name, you can edit, you can mark them and mark them as complete or remove them from the project. So basic idea is of the demo is to get you on board with MAUI and give you basic understanding of how the navigation works, because navigation is kind of common thing in almost all the apps, right? Yeah. So give an understanding of that and show you how the binding works with MVVM.
Yeah, that's really important. I think when we are working with .NET MAUI, how the layers or the modules communicate with.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get started. So I'll close this. So yeah, we talked about MVVM, right? And we talk something about iNotify property change, which is kind of like a inbuilt notification kind of provider that's coming from MAUI. But we are not going to use that. So instead of the iNotify property change, the inbuilt one, there's an alternative called community toolkit. Okay, we're going to use that with our MVVM approach.
Okay, if you have iNotification change property built in .NET MAUI, so why are we taking a third-party library and using community toolkit? Like, what's better in that?
Yeah, so really good question. So iNotify property change, again, it's inbuilt. We have to do everything manually. Like for example, when we define it, our view model with iNotify property change, so we have to create properties. We have to create commands. So the commands will be like the button action.
Yeah.
So we have to define everything manually. With community toolkit, we don't have to define those manually. Community toolkit does that for us. Okay. So it basically implements iNotify property change for us.
Okay. So it eliminates the need of us writing boiler code, right?
Exactly.
Boilerplate code.
Yeah, and like the view models are cleaner, it's easier to maintain, and like yeah, so many advantages.
Yeah, that's great then.
Yeah. So as the first step, I think let's install the community toolkit package.
Here we are installing it from the NuGet package, right?
Exactly.
So NuGet package is something like npm for Node.
Exactly. Yeah. So like for .NET, like NuGet holds most of like third-party libraries that we can use to make things easier. So yeah. So just like that, I installed the community toolkit with .NET CLI. Again, if you are using Visual Studio, you don't have to like type this code. You have the GUI for NuGet Package Manager. You can just go there and search it. You can install it from there. Yeah. So that's done. So the next step is again MVVM. So I like to keep things separated, and I think that should be the way to go. So that means like we are separating our models, our views, and our view models. So to do that, I'm going to create 3 folders. First one is views. And then models. The other one, view models.
Okay. Here, I see you created all the models in one project, right?
Yeah.
So can we move like MV, for example, view model to a separate class library?
Exactly. You can, and you should do that.
Okay, that's a best practice.
That's the best practice, because like again, like it's better to keep things separated. That means like not just moving them to folders. If possible, move them to different class libraries.
Okay.
The reason is like let's say you have the view models in a different class library, and this is just a MAUI app, right?
Yeah.
In the future, you need to create, let's say, a WPF app or a desktop app or a web project with the same logic. So you have that class library, so you can just link that class library to that new project instead of linking all the projects to this front end, the app.
Okay, which means we can use same business logic in our MAUI app, and maybe the other application, the web application, maybe
exactly
we can use, right?
Yeah. So that's why it's important to like move this to a different class library rather than keeping them in all the same project.
Yeah, that's a good advantage.
And also, like, let's say you need to write unit tests, so you can just write unit tests for that view models class library. You can test that separately.
And if you have a bug, and when we fix it in one test, I think both the the website and the application, it fixes it, right?
Yeah. But for this demo, to make this easier, I'm gonna like create everything in one project.
Yeah.
So you should like try to create these things in a separate class libraries as much as possible. Okay. Yeah. So it's done. Like this is C#, right? Yeah. So we will be working with classes. So in the to-do list app also, you saw we have a list. So list mean in C#, it's a list of classes. That means we need to define what our to-do item is. So we need a class for that. A base class. A blueprint. So for that, I'm going to create a model. And I'm going to call it to-do item. Now I'm going to add a simple class with two properties. So it will have a title for the task name and is selected to mark whether it's selected or not. So yeah, so that's the model, and I'm going to close this that. So the next step is to add views. So let's add a to-do list view. Yeah, so this is going to be the SAML file, and I'm going to add the code behind file as well. So this is again, when you use VS Code, you have to like create these files manually. But let's say you did this with Visual Studio. You just have to create this to-do list.saml file, and Visual Studio create this CS file for you.
It automatically creates the code behind file.
Exactly. And right now it's just an empty page, right? You don't have any content here. When you use Visual Studio, it will add some sample content to this page, the sample page, and also it will generate a sample class for this code behind file as well. But in Visual Studio, VS Code, everything manual. So I'm gonna add some content to the SAML file. Yeah, so it's gonna be just a spec layout with a label. So you can see something interesting here. We have defined something called class. So this is how you link your code behind file with your SAML file. So the class name is to-do list. So that means I have to create a class name to-do list in this code behind file. So that's how this code behind file and the view get linked. Yeah, so it's going to be again a content page, and we just do the initiation here. So just like that, we created a view, to-do list view. So if you can remember, we had a sidebar, right?
Yes.
So let's add another view. This is like just to show you how the navigation. So let's call it about, and the code behind file. So I'm going to copy the content from here. So here you can see we have a class, and right now I'm just copied it from to-do list. So this shouldn't be to-do list. It should be a unique class for the about page. So I'm going to call it about, and I'm going to create the same class in a second. So let's change this to about, this to about as well. Yeah, so the class name is about. I'm just going to copy the to-do list, paste it here, and change this to about. So just like that, we got two views. So let's add this to our route page, which is the app shell, and see how they look like. So yeah, we already have a shell content. I'm just gonna copy this, paste it. So this is gonna be home. Change this. So this will be to-do list, and the route will be to-do list. So still, you know, we just copied it. We are still like showing the main page. So if you can see, we are like telling local colon main page. So what is local? So it's defined here, XML NS colon local, and it's like something called CLR namespace colon to-do list. So this is how you define a path. So let's say like this main page, it's in this project's root, right? So you have the project to-do list, and you have the main page on the root. So that means CLR namespace is the to-do list. This. So that's how, just like that, we defined path for the root, and we assign it to this keyword called local.
Yeah.
So from there onward, you can just call local main page.
Yeah. So I see XML XMLNS, right? What does that mean? Like it's a always a prefix and the for example here local. So what is XMLNS?
Yes. So XMLNS means XML namespace. So it's like defining. Think of it like a path or path or a folder shortcut. It's like defining a path for your folder and assigning it to a prefix.
Okay.
So right now we have like a path defined for the root. So let's see how you can do that for views, because
you also have defined XMLNS at the top in the line number 4, right?
Yeah.
So that's like
kind of template. Yeah. So what I want to do is here, I want to show our to-do list.
Yes.
But the to-do list is not in the root. It's not in this path. It's in a folder called views. So what I need to do is, something like this. So what I did was, so this is the path for our views folder, and I assigned that to a prefix called views, and I declared a namespace.
Yeah, that's simple.
Yeah. So we have like 2 pages here. So what I'm going to do is views to-do list. Just like that, I can mention all the views in this views folder. So I'm going to add another thing. This is for like about. The route is going to be again about. So here, instead of to-do list, I'll do this about.
Now we have 3 navigation or navigation paths.
More than one. So right now there should be a sidebar.
Yeah, it should appear there.
Yeah. So let's see how this looks in the app. That's building. Boom. So just like that, we go to sidebar.
Wow. We have 3 navigations there that we defined in
exactly
app shell, right?
So we didn't define a sidebar or anything. What we did was we just added our content to the shell, and the MAUI does that. MAUI defined the sidebar for us.
So we can style this sidebar also, right?
Exactly. There are like tons of customization that you can do. You can add images, buttons, nested routes. That's also possible. Yeah. So that's how you do the navigation. Yeah, so I'm going to comment this one because I'm not going to work with the main page. I don't need that. So all I need is now the to-do list. This is where like we will be working. Post everything. Yeah. So right now we have our to-do list page, and what we're going to do is we're going to first thing, we're going to display a list, our to-do list, the list that we have in our view.
Yeah.
So again, MVVM, right? So we need, we talked about view models.
Yeah.
So instead of adding our code to the code behind Pi, we're going to add that we're going to add our code to a view model. So that means we have to create a view.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create a view model called to-do list view model. Inside this view models folder, and I'm going to implement a simple view model just like this. It's an empty one.
Yeah, here I can see observable object, like it inherits, right?
Yeah.
What does that do?
So this is coming from community toolkit. So it's kind of like base class for view models.
Okay.
So we talked about an alternative for like iNotify property change. So this is that. So this base class implements the iNotify property change thing for us.
Okay.
So that like UI. So when we bind this with the UI, so UI can automatically update when there's an event.
Okay, when we are creating a view model, we have to inherit observable object and then work on it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so this is just an empty view model. So the first thing is we need a way of holding the task. That means a list or a collection. So I'm going to add a collection called task. It's like this. So it's going to be an observable collection.
Again, it's an observable collection, right? What is it? Is it coming from community toolkit?
No, this one is coming from MAUI.
Okay.
So what this does is it makes this task list dynamic. It makes this a dynamic collection, and it whenever this task list got changed, like when we add, remove, or update anything from the task list, it fires a notification for the UI, so that the UI knows it's time to change. So like observable object, observable collection, they all work together. Yeah. So we have a list. So let's add some dummy tasks to the list. So in .NET, the easiest way to do that is you have a constructor and initialize. Yeah. We have a simple view model. Something is missing, right? So our view doesn't know what the view model is.
Yes.
So we just created our to-do list view, and it's time to tell, okay, this is your view model. So to do this, all you have to do is, you have to set the binding context to your view model. That's it. So in the SAML also, I'm going to do some changes. Like I'm going to define. So here, like we need to define a data type for the SAML. That means like we need to tell what is the view model.
Okay.
Otherwise, like it's going to look up for the view model when the app is running. It takes time.
Okay.
So when we like do this here, this SAML file knows this is your view model. So it's not going to look for like view model when it's in the compilation. So to do that, first, again, like it's in a different folder. I need to tell, okay, this is your view models folder.
Yeah.
That means, I'm going to call it VM. This is like the text I preferred, and I'm going to make it to view models. So to do list dot view models.
It should be MXMLNS, right?
Yeah. Good catch. So it's MLNS, and this will be mapped to this path. So then I'm going to do is, so I'm going to define the data type, VM. This is this folder, and the to-do list view model. So just like that, we define our view model. So in this to-do list, like you have a list, and in C# things are like class based, right?
Yeah.
So you will need to work with the model. So to do that, I'm going to do define another namespace for models. I'm going to call it models, and I'm going to make it equal to the model folder. So the path for the model folder will map to this prefix.
Okay.
So that's the configuration, and then let's add some content. So it's going to be a list. So instead of this content, I'm going to add something like this. So let's just talk about it a bit. So we have a vertical stack layer. We talked about layouts. So that means like I need to align things one after the other. So it's the purpose of the stack layer, vertical stack layer. Inside that, I have a control called collection. So this is what you use to show lists. So I think if I remember in React, what we do was like we loop through the arrays, and we create single elements, like using for each kind of thing. Here we don't need to do that. You have like a control called collection view, and then you need to do the binding. So this is how it's done. So you have like item source. This is a property of a collection view, and then I'm doing is binding tasks. So binding is a keyword. You have to use that everywhere you do the binding, and then the task. So this is the list that we just created.
The observable collection.
Observable collection. So just like that, we bound this list to this collection view. So the collection view, if you loop through and do everything, and it will show things for us.
Okay, great.
So inside the collection view, I have something called item template. So this is where you can define how an individual item should look like. So you have like another option, like within an item template, you can tell what to show when there are no items, kind of thing. So here I'm just gonna tell, okay, how an individual item should look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, inside that I have the data template. So this is for one single item, right? So the data type will be our model. So it's just a single item. That means to do item. So inside that I have like checkbox and a label. So I have put both of them inside a horizontal stack layer. That means I need them side by side. Checkbox on the left side, label on the right side.
So here, I think we talked about the UI hierarchy, right? We had pages and we had layouts and controls. This is, I think, a best example, like basic example of it. Like we have the page and we have multiple layouts, and also we can mix and match and edit the layouts, right? We have stack layout as the parent, and inside that we have horizontal stack layout. So likewise, you can create your own UI with those layouts, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so we have the checkbox. So checkbox has a property called isChecked, and it's bound to the selected of the item. We have a label. Label text is bound to the title. Okay, so let's see how this looks like in the end. So right now it's going to be just a list. It's so it. All right, so you have this to-do list page, and there you have the 4 items that we added. So one thing to note here is like we are saying it's a checkbox. Here is kind of a circle, right? So this is the native behavior. In iOS, checkbox are circles. In when you if you compile this to Android, it will appear as a box.
Okay, that's an example. Like it will compile down to its platform's native bits. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So here we now have the list of to-do list items. I think next part is like adding something to the list and marking them as completed, right?
Yes. So that's the next part. So to add an item to the list, we need an input box and a button, right? So again, like when it comes to the input box, we need a property or a variable to hold the value that we type.
Yes.
So right now we don't have anything. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that property in our view model. So it's going to be something like this.
Yeah, here again it's observable property. Is it from a commit toolkit?
Yeah, so it's again from the community toolkit. So what it does is, so we call this the new task title. This is called a field.
Okay.
So we cannot refer fields in our UI. So what we need is a property.
Okay.
So when you mark it as an observable property, community toolkit creates a property for you, so that we can define it within this view model or within the view anywhere. So how it happened is like this new task title is camel case, right?
Yeah.
The first letter is simple. So and when you mark it as an observable property, the community toolkit will create a property with the Pascal case, same name but Pascal case. N is capital here.
Okay. Then what's the best practice? Like, is it camel case when we are initializing the variable?
Exactly. Okay. So you should like initialize your field with camel case, and the community toolkit will create a property for you in the Pascal case.
Okay.
So we have a field. So let's add a text box, and let's bind that text box to this field, not the field, to the property. So we have stack layout here. So I'm just gonna add it about the list. So here, like when we say input box, it's not input box, it's an entry.
In .NET MAUI, we call it entry, right?
Yeah. Basically in SAML, we call it entry.
SAML, yeah.
So this entry will have a placeholder, and a text, it's bound to the new task title, not the field, to the property.
To the property that is generated from the community.
Yeah, with you can see the property name start with capital N. Here the field is with simple N. So we are referring to the property. Yeah, so we have an input box and a property to hold its value. So the next step is to add two buttons. One is to like add that to the list, and one is to like mark them as complete. So the first thing before like doing the UI, I prefer to add the buttons, a button like click events. So I'm going to do that in the view model, and yeah, mark it as a relay command.
Okay, a relay command. What's that? Like we had the observable property in the same way, like as an attribute, and now we have relay command.
Yeah, so this is again coming from community toolkit, which does kind of a similar thing as this observable property. So here it creates a property. Here what it does is creating a command. Okay. So this is our method, a task method. We cannot prefer this in our SAML. Yeah. So SAML expects a command. Okay. So what relay command does is it creates a command and map this method to the command. Okay. So it happens behind the scene. So right now this method is at task. So the command will be at task command. Okay. So it takes the method name and add the keyword command to the end.
Yeah, we can identify it with the other properties.
Exactly. So similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another relay command for marking them as complete. Yeah, so mark complete, just remove it from the list, and here again, like it will be mark complete command, the respective command. So let's add two buttons. So yeah, I'm going to add it below the entry with the horizontal stack layout. So again, like I need these buttons side by side. So that's why I'm using horizontal stack layout. So I have one button which is at task. So the command, this is how you bind an event. So command is again binding keyword, and the command that got generated, not the method. Okay. So the method is at task, command is at task command. Similarly, I'm doing the same thing for the mark complete button. Let's just remove this mark as complete. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, build, installing. Alrighty, so you have a text box that you can type. I'm going to type test task, edit, add to the list. I'm going to mark something and then mark as complete, which will remove them from the list. Yeah, so with that, actually, we have come to the end of the demo. To give a recap, what we did was like the basic idea again, like was to onboard you with MAUI. So we showed what the code behind files are and how things are like in the project, the files and folders. And then we talk about like how you can create simple but powerful sidebar for your app, which is kind of like a important thing, the navigation thing. So yeah, then we did this thing in MVVM way with the view model, and you saw like how you can use this community toolkit to reduce your code. Yeah. Yeah. Also, like we showed you how to do the binding. So we did couple types of binding. Like we did the list binding, event binding, and then the property binding. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a basic to-do list step now, right?
Yeah.
Created from the scratch with the architectures like MVVM architecture.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have few slides. Let me share my screen again. Yeah. Share screen. Okay. Yeah, we are done with the demo, and here we have pros and cons of MAUI over summary. So there are a few things I need to highlight here. So Microsoft have ended support for Xamarin in 2024 May 1st. So Microsoft will focus on .NET MAUI going forward. So .NET MAUI is a new architecture built from ground up, meaning that it's not like taking the architecture from Xamarin and tweaking up and making MAUI. It's a fresh architecture. So Microsoft have so many plans for this. I think it'll grow during the coming years. And we also have as a pro we as pros we have unified developer experience, which means let's say for example if you have .NET backend and you have a unique mobile application. So the .NET developers also can take over the mobile application development because it's basically .NET, right? And we can there's a bit of learning curve, but it'll be easy to catch up for .NET developers. So those are few pros, and we have some cons. So the community is still growing. So this is still young, but it's growing, and it's like generating a track record. But though this is young, I think this is more powerful. Like it's a very powerful tool. We have some great production ready applications. We'll talk about it. And also Xamarin developers are now moving to .NET MAUI. With the supports being ended. So this like rapidly grows the community. So that's like we can expect big like heavy developments with .NET MAUI in coming years, I think. Here these are some companies that use .NET MAUI in their projects. So to be specific, we have few example applications that is in App Store and Google Play Store. So one thing I want to highlight here is the Microsoft Azure application. So here, if you have logged into the website, the portal, Microsoft Azure, there is so many things to present, right? So presenting them in a mobile application is a challenging task, I think. But Microsoft has done it like cleverly, and that app is built using .NET MAUI. So you have some other examples here, like menu dish, which you have menus of restaurant. Yeah, that's the session. And do you have any questions? Let's.
I think we have a couple of questions in the chat.
Do you have the chat? Alex.
Scroll down.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. First question: is it possible to build the UI without Xamarin using only C#?
I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
We call it like a markup UI or markup C#, or C# only UI. It's possible, but it's not recommended. Okay. Like when you use C#, let's say you just created a horizontal layer, right? You just have to create it as an object. You have to like instantiate it and then add everything in a C# way. It's kind of a mess, and the code is long. So I wouldn't recommend going with building the UI with C# when you have XAML. So XAML is pretty powerful.
So basically that's possible there, but that's not recommended because here at a glance we can identify the XAML file, and we know that it's the UI, right? And when you see XAML.cs, you know it's the code behind file.
And this C# only UI, it was widely used in Xamarin. So we shouldn't carry that practice forward when it comes to MAUI.
Let's go to the next question. won't be there any need of writing Android specific or iOS specific implementation writing in MAUI?
Uh, so most of the time we can use the same code base and compile that to its native thing. There are some cases where we need to write separate code for separate platforms. We call them platform specific codes.
Okay.
Like one example I can give is push notifications. So they are working differently in iOS and Android.
Yeah.
So you have to tell, okay, in iOS configuration files, you have to tell handle the push notification like this. In Android, you have to tell, okay, handle the push notification like this.
Yeah.
So not just the push notification, there are many more. Yeah. So most of the time, these UI components, they will get compiled to its native code. But yeah, there are times you have to use kind of like platform specific code where you need to write iOS, Android specific codes. Yeah.
So we can do that.
We can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Another question is currently task list is in the app memory. What kind of utils we can use to store it in OS file store to keep it as a local copy?
So we have something called essential APIs, which we can use to like communicate with what do you call the platform, the device itself, device storage and stuff. So we could use kind of a essential API to write them to the OS file store. Yeah, again, like with file stream, you can do that. Also, like I would say, you could use something like SQLite, which is kind of like a famous database kind of thing that we use with SAML.
Okay.
That also possible. Yeah. So mainly you have those essential APIs in MAUI. You can use them.
So those are the questions we received from the chat. Yeah, you also can add if you have more questions. Meanwhile, I think I'll ask a couple of questions. So we have like sensors in a phone, right?
Yeah.
For example, the gyroscope, those kind of sensors, and we have the camera, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to .NET MAUI, is it easy to access them, or can we access them, or is it? Yeah. What is your thought on it?
We can, and it's super easy. So again, like that comes to essential APIs. They are the MAUI expose the device sensors or device related things to .NET.
Yeah.
So with that, like with one line of code, you can get what the battery percentage.
Okay.
And that works for like every other platform, Tyson, Windows, Android, iOS. That one line of code works for all platforms.
Okay.
It's super easy.
Okay, then that's I think easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one more question. So it's the last question from me. So
yeah.
This is like, do you think that like what is your thought on .NET MAUI compared to other frameworks like Flutter, React Native, like other mobile frameworks? What's
the thought? So .NET MAUI is still young. So when you say like other frameworks, React Native, Flutter, they were in the industry for a long time, right? They are like matured.
Yeah.
So .NET MAUI is kind of still young. There are limitations, like there are a few limitations in the Google Maps section. Still, like, let's say you are a developer who is pretty much familiar with .NET and you want to move into mobile, you can try MAUI. It's easy for you. You know the C#. You just need to learn SAML, which is kind of like HTML related thing. So you're like halfway there. So for that kind of scenario, like it's really easy to move into MAUI. Again, like it's a maturity. Yeah. So those frameworks, they are like real mature.
Yeah. So .NET MAUI is still young. I think for this space, I think it's really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going forward, I think it might grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we have one question from the chat.
Okay. Do we have? Yeah, we have one. Does MAUI have any type of life cycle events?
Exactly. So there are few life cycle events in Maui. We call it like on start. That means like what should happen when the page starts.
Yeah.
On sleep. Again, like it does things when we can like set instructions to do like when the app goes to the background.
Okay.
Background and foreground. And on resume, like it tells like what to do when the app resumes. So yeah, there are many more lifecycle methods that you can use to make things easy.
Yeah, that means we have life cycles and we can use them to perform some tasks. So for example, if you want a background running task, you can have that.
Yeah, on Flip you can have tasks running on the background. Let's say like you just resume the app from the background to foreground. So then you can use on resume method.
Okay.
So you can just give some instruction on that, on what to do when the app resumes.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I think we have covered the questions. Yeah. Over to Prahadi. Yeah.